Welcome to the Walking Dead panel at the Writers Guild Foundation. It's excellent to see you all. Thank you for coming. It's going to be a really fun panel tonight. We're going to talk for a while about stuff and things. And then at a certain point, if you have stuff and things that you would like to inquire about, you can line up at these microphones in an orderly fashion. There's no need to punch anyone in the throat. Everyone will make time. I'll make plenty of time to make sure that you guys get the specific fan questions answered that you have answered. So, Walking Dead is one of those shows. I was at Comic-Con the year that it premiered, and I remember my friend Brian Posehn and I were at the AMC booth, and we just watched the trailer over and over again. There was a lot of swearing, a lot of "holy shit, what is that?" I mean, like because this show, to us, sort of encapsulated and just the way our kind of nerd brains work. We're like, if this were a zombie apocalypse, this is exactly what it would be like. And it's something that is really captured. And so, it's been an amazing ride. Then I found out, they were going to do this after show experiment for Walking Dead. I'm like, I want to talk about zombies. And I love the comics as well. How many people have read the Walking Dead comics? Okay, good. Half of you. The rest of you, what are you waiting for? Why do you hate good things? You should really be doing it. It's different from the show. It's a different universe. And so you can read it without having things spoiled. But it really is all about the storytelling and the characters, and we'll sort of get into that. As Kirkman always says, it's just a soap opera with some zombie crap. But you really do get into the characters and the writing, and so we're going to talk about all that tonight. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys are super excited as well. So I'm going to introduce the panel now so we can get into it. Please help me welcome Scott Gimple, Robert Kirkman, Lauren Cohan, and Stephen Young. Here they come, bounding down the aisle at breakneck speed. Please don't fall. Don't fall. You can fall. They can't fall. Where do you want to sit? I'll sit here. I don't know. Pick whichever strange Kubrickian seat you want. This is like in the captain's chair. Excellent.
Oh, you guys are really far away. It was sort of Sean Connery.
It was a little bit. It kind of goes into Bane a little bit as well. Remember when you watched Dark Knight Rises and you were like, is he going to do that voice the whole time? And then, yep, he does. The camera's going up. Welcome everyone. It's good to see you guys. Let's.
Hey, I was in the back. Can I see the show of hands of people that don't read the comics again? I just want to get a sense of
no one's gonna cop to
who
I
don't like, any answers I don't answer.
It was a lot of people, but don't worry. I'm sure it's fine. It's totally fine.
All right.
So let's start with you, Kirkman. If you want to just...
You can call me Robert. Did you stop yourself?
I did.
What was that? What's that about?
Because it's almost like Newman. We have this Seinfeld-Newman kind of a relationship.
But we like each other.
I know, I do.
You got to compare me. Can I be Seinfeld?
You can be Seinfeld. I'll be Newman. Hello. So let's talk a little bit about, so that first year when the show came out and I got to see that trailer at Comic-Con, what was the process for making the jump from the comic to the television show? Because that wasn't really something that happened a lot in television at that point. It was usually comic book to film. And usually when they try to make a comic book into a TV show, it was assy. So how did you make the
That's a good term.
It was assy. It was very difficult. Usually the effects weren't good, or they didn't.
Which shows? Name
I'm not going to say anything.
Come on.
I'm not gonna crap on anything.
WGA function. There's bound to be someone here that worked on some of those shows.
No.
Mantis? That wasn't based on a comic.
Yep.
I liked that show.
You liked Mantis?
Oh, I did.
It was pretty good.
I was young.
Do you remember any of the Captain America or Spider-Man movies from the 70s?
Those were terrible.
Movies? Oh, yeah.
The one where Captain America had rubber ears because they couldn't figure out how to put holes in the side of his mask.
The 70s.
Yeah.
But how did you...
Can we talk more about crappy Marvel movies?
No. Everyone's amazing. So let's talk about at what point in the comic series did you realize...
That Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie where he never even had the Punisher logo on his chest?
You're still crapping on other comic book movies right now.
What is that about? They got so much better, those movies.
So you're not allowed to ask any Walking Dead questions. You have to ask Kirkman other comic book movie and TV show questions. At what point in the series, now this is the 11th year of the comic series, right?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say the show, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, my brain just broke. I forgot what we were doing. But at what point in the comic series did you think, there is some viability into porting this over to television, and so how did that process come about?
At no point did I ever think that it would get made into a television show.
Why is that?
People would call me, and they'd be like, hey, so-and-so's interested in talking to you about turning this into a show, and I'd be like, they're crazy. Because... at its core, it's essentially a thing about people eating people. Like zombies are kind of people, and they're eating human beings, and that's not the kind of thing you would ever expect to see on television. You would have to be absolutely insane to actually put that on TV. And thankfully, AMC ended up being pretty crazy, so I kind of lucked out. But it was a somewhat long process, and at no point did I ever think it was actually going to happen. I remember being on set and like seeing it happen. Being like, this is never going to make it on air. This is crazy. No one's going to watch this. This is not going to work. I'm also a pessimist. I killed, it's just dead silent out there. They're like, I want this guy to stop. But no, it was shocking, talking to Galen Hurd, talking to Frank Darabont, talking to people at AMC, and they're like, oh no, we love the comic. We're going to do it justice. We're going to adapt it faithfully. We want you involved, and it's all like that. None of that makes sense to me.
No, because usually when networks say that, they don't mean any of that.
No, they lie.
They lie, and they go, oh, we want it to be edgy and fun, and then you get on set, and they're like, oh, we can't do any of that. We have sponsors. And then you're not able to really make it the kind of edgy show that it should be. But now there's this renaissance of television where these cable channels are essentially become like independent film almost, with the kind of freedom that they give you guys. So did you feel that going into the project, and all along the way, where did you start to feel like, oh, I think this might actually turn out well?
Everything that happened on the project was like good, and every time something would happen, like anytime we would like cast somebody or another script would come in or we'd get a little closer to actually shooting something, I'd be like, this is really coming together. I don't know, this might happen. There was a moment where we were in Georgia and we were in pre-production on the pilot, and we were really worried about how we were going to be able to shoot the gore and how we were going to be able to televise it. And there was a lot of discussion early on about the possibility of shooting it like it was an R-rated or, from the 70s, like a George Romero, like X-rated horror movie, gore-wise, and just putting that stuff on the DVD because we'd never be able to air it. And AMC had a sizzle reel cut of all of the movies that they showed during Fear Fest, where they edited together all of the goriest scenes that they had televised into like a 2-minute clip. And they were like... yeah, this is what we can show. And so, we all sat around a table in Georgia, like before we started filming, watching this like reel of people getting their heads cut off, people getting cut in half, and blood pouring all over the place. And it was just like, it was pretty insane. And so then I knew, like, okay, these people are committed.
And that's also, a huge testament to Greg Nicotero, because normally those kinds of things are shot wide, so you can't see up close because the effects just never really worked that well on television before. But now it's almost like it's become one of the signature things about the show. We do the segment on the show about the in memoriam where we see all the kills, and you see them super up close and in slow motion.
Yeah, I will say, having to go through the special effects, there's been more than one time where we're sitting there going like, they're going to show this on Talking Dead in slow motion. We have to make this perfect, there are certain effects that we've done this year that we have done, I think we had 15 different takes of.
Oh, wow.
And when we say takes, that isn't like sitting on set doing that. That's our amazing special effects company, Stargate, and all these dudes and women sitting there in front of their computers creating 3D blood and 3D brain objects. And a lot of work goes in there to watch it in slow motion. Well,
so Scott Gimple, you may know, took over as showrunner this year, which is it's almost like, the showrunners on Walking Dead have been like the drummers in Spinal Tap, like every.
Are we going there?
What are you talking about?
What are you doing?
No, we're not going in a bad direction. I'm just saying, like, it's.
They did a Nick Fury movie with David Hasselhoff.
Christ. I'm just saying, that it's a very daunting
What
task.
is it? Lisa Rinna? Rena? Is that
Lisa
her name?
Rinna? I would say
Lisa Rinna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was talented.
Good pull. But for you coming on to a production where there was one showrunner and then another showrunner and then third showrunner, and so how did you sort of get through the process, and were you terrified when you took over the show, or were you comfortable enough at that point where you thought, I know exactly where this needs to go? How did you get your point of view across and tell the story that you want to tell?
Well, I'd worked on the show from season 2, and I had watched the show from season 1, and I don't know, I felt like I'd sort of grown up on the show a little bit, or at least, I knew where all the keys were kept, and I'd been working with Robert, and early on, the arguments in the writers' room that Robert and I had were that I wanted to hem closer to the comic.
Scott would be the guy I would always reference in interviews. There's this guy in the room, Scott Gimple, that's always like, stay close to the comic. And I'm like, shut up, Scott, let's change things.
Yeah.
I would say
that's
that in
essentially how
interviews.
the conversations went.
Well, because Robert, we've talked about this before. I know that because it's been such a long process with the comics, there were things that you always kind of wanted to go back and change, and now you had the opportunity to, with all this hindsight and reflection, be able to really, really do the things that you had always wanted to do.
There have been times where I've written that comic in a hurry. I'm not going to say it's perfect. I like it. You guys like it. It's a good book. But, at the end of the day, 6 years later, you look at a page, you're like, you should have said that. Now we can do that in the show.
So did it feel like you were coming on to a system that was already well underway, or did you feel like, I immediately feel like I have control of the plane and I kind of know where to take it, or was there a little bit of a learning curve for you?
Well, even moving into season 4, I had pitches for season 4 as, I think I was a supervising producer. I had my pitches. I had where I wished the story would go. Mm-hmm. And, both Frank and Glenn, I learned a lot from along the way. And, I worked with them along the way, and I don't know, it's a lot. It was basically doing the same job I had always done. It was just with a lot more additional responsibilities. Yeah. But especially as a writer on the show, you're always thinking of where you'd like the story to go. Sure. And I guess it just so happened that I didn't have to sell myself on it. That's what you do in a room a lot of the times is if you have an idea that you think could work, you're just trying to sell it. You're trying to push it along and hopefully pick up other people's ideas along the way to make it better. It was just doing that. It's just, in addition to that, I had special effects to look at. Sure. And I had actors to talk to and people.
No offense.
People to cast. But I will say, on this show, there's a hell of a lot of training wheels. Greg Nicotero is somebody who doesn't just do makeup and special effects. He directs. He's on the ground every day in Georgia, and he's a wonderful collaborator. There's Gail Ann Hurd, who I can throw things at. There's Dave Alpert, who I can throw things at.
You just throw things at them?
You throw things at them.
You're wrong.
Oh, no. It's like, oh, my God, take care of this. Take this baby.
I think, why would you have a baby?
It's a crazy show.
That's weird.
It's a crazy show.
But I also, it's funny, just from being street level on the internet, you go on like Reddit.
Street level
on
the internet.
I know that sounded douchey. I meant it to sound like...
Hey, guys, get better at this. Come on, both of you. Jeez.
Shut up, Kirkman. But in terms of like, I'm in the forums, I'm reading, and the same thing happens every season. It's like when Frank left, everyone was like, oh, what's gonna happen? And then when Glenn took over, like, oh, what? All right, this is okay. Oh, now Glenn's leaving. Oh, I don't know. And then Scott, okay, this is okay. And now people are really responding to the show under your supervision. And so, is it where you want it to be, or do you feel like you're still? It's like, oh, just wait till this episode, and then that's where I feel like it's really my voice.
Oh, well, it's hard. It's my voice, but it's a whole bunch of other people's voices too. And at the end of the day, I make the decisions as far as where it's going, but it's with a great deal of counsel from other people, a great deal of smart people that are helping me out. And it's based on, 123 issues of a comic that, I've been reading all along. So it's, if it isn't directly from the comic, it takes a great deal of inspiration from it. And over again, I think there's even been instances when we've done stuff that I've been like, oh yeah, here's something from the comic, here's something that we made up. And then I realize, oh no, that's from the comic. It's just from another timeline in the comic. It's from stuff that might even be coming, that's like way ahead of where we are in the show, or it's something that we never got to. It can be little things, it can be big things.
It's not often, I feel like, in television where the showrunner is already a fan of the source material, like going into the project. That usually
it's
like
was super weird that way, because with the show, it was like I saw the trailer, I was so excited for it to come on the air. Even just looking at the movie poster, which was not the movie poster, but the TV poster, which looked like a movie.
Rick on the horse and the freeway.
Just everything about it when you looked at it, even the font and everything like that, just everything looked like, oh damn.
I love that font.
It's a good font.
Solid font. I don't know. It just from the and then my wife and I watched every episode live. Just looking forward to it. Every Sunday it was on, and then I was such a fan of it that I didn't want to get on the show because I had heard that there was some drama behind the scenes. And I was like, yeah, I like the show. I don't want to get involved in drama.
Well, it's also scary.
What drama, Scott? Tell us more.
I heard there was drama.
But it's also scary when you work on something that you really care about, because you also don't want to be the person that ruined, for yourself. You're like, oh, if I screw this up, I don't want to be the person that, ruins this, because I'm a fan of it and I don't want to be that guy.
I definitely, I don't know if it's to my own detriment. I definitely don't worry about ruining it. I sit there and really, with the source material, it being so good, it being something that I loved along the way, having all these guideposts, you just aspire to make it great. You work really hard at it, and sort of the chips are going to fall where they may. And there'll always be people on Twitter to be mean to you.
No matter what.
There will always be people like that.
You could.
But you know what? I'm curious about Lauren and Steven.
I was getting to them next.
I'm not.
No one could be mean about them on the internet.
I'm actually really enjoying this.
Well, so how did you guys first get involved with the show? Was it just a general audition, or did you know Lauren? Did you know anyone who was already working on the show, or did they call you in?
No, I didn't know anyone. I had been sent the sides, not a full script, very top secret, just the sides, and I knew that it was an apocalypse show. I hadn't seen the first season. And so I made a tape, and I had moved back to England a week before as well. It's like, I'm going to go back and do some theatre. And then made a tape for this show, and then tried to just think, I don't know, it felt incredibly close to my heart. And some things you read and immediately you can memorize, and it just feels very much your own. And then just sort of handed it over to the gods and thought nothing of it. And then 2 days later, they said, they want you to come for a chemistry read with Stephen Yeun. And I was like, cool, who's that guy? And then I went.
Future husband.
And my future husband, no less. And then they said, nope, you know what? You don't come for the thing, just come to LA. And went to LA and did I can't remember what that was for now, but we did some sort of scanning for the doll.
We were just messing with
We were just. I went to LA
Stand in this
scammed.
box. For
Yeah.
It's the thing you do with actors. You get them to do something really uncomfortable before you hire them to see what they'll put up with.
Keep them on the back foot.
Well, the first part of an audition is scanning for the doll.
Yeah, exactly. No, but by that point I had gotten the job, and I was just sort of this whirlwind. Like 3 days I came out, watched the series, the first, the 6 episodes on the plane, and thought, oh my God, don't mess this up. And then just got there and was.
Wait, you hadn't watched the show until you were hired? What if you were on the plane watching the show and you were like, this is awful?
Well, because I liked the
I don't wanna do
writing, and that
this.
was all I needed to know. I
Turn
liked
this
the
plane
writing.
around.
I know. I was like, hold.
What if you got on set and they were like, damn, y'all zombies? Uh-oh. Yo, we street level with these zombies.
Oh, did you read the script? We don't follow the script.
That's more of a
Lure
guideline.
you young actors in with those script business.
Yeah, those were fake pages. Here's the real pages. What about you, Steven?
I had.
Tell this story again, Steven.
Yeah. I had just moved to LA the year before. I was very fortunate to have a good pilot season, and then the show kind of came up. And for me, it wasn't like, oh, this material is great. I think I'll go for it. It was like, I need a damn job, so like I would have just done it anyway. If I saw the show and I saw that it was crap, I'd be like, cool, I have a job. But yeah, I mean, it was a crazy experience, because I had just mostly done theater, and I had mostly done like random bit things here and there, but. It was a rude awakening for Hollywood, for me with Hollywood, because I was like for some reason I had this wrong image that like they hold your hand through it all. They're like, show up here and then make sure that you know these lines, and then stand right there and then do this, and then we'll take care of this. It's just more like, yo, know your shit and show up. And I'm like, they entrusted that to me? Like, I got to set, and it was massive, and it's huge. There's a crane, and there's a tank, and there's a horse. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I thought there would be, like, more, like, specifics. They were just like, yeah, just show up at 4. I'm like, okay. And it's just surreal, because that's what I love about the show. And I also love about, like, making stuff like this is that it's just people agreeing to show up to a location at the same time with different sets of skills.
And then hopefully something gets made.
Yeah, that's literally all it is. It's like, well, I'm going to show up. It's like, what do you do? Oh, I talk in front of the camera.
I brought the cameras.
Yeah, I brought the camera, yeah. That's literally what it is. It's so surreal. And so for me, it's like, I think that's what grounded it and made me not so scared, because I didn't know if I was capable of doing any of the stuff that they wrote. But I don't know, your fault. Like, you hired me, so it's cool.
That's the other thing, too, about the show, is that turning up and not knowing what to do sort of helps you on this show. Because I remember the first episode for Emily, Scott, and myself was when Carl's shot and he's rushed into the house, and we're just this family living in a farmhouse that doesn't really know the extent of the apocalypse, doesn't know what to do with a shot boy. And so we just kind of were living on that vibe for the whole time. And then you just sort of go forward, take something and run with it until you're directed otherwise. That's sort of like seems to be the MO with the apocalypse.
Well, just run, just keep running.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that you're never allowed to stop running. And every time on the show, it's like, oh, they found this really great place. Then that's in your gut. You're like, what are they gonna do to these people? Like, what horrible thing is around the corner? But I also, I've said a lot how much I love the idea of a show where you take a bunch of characters and then you assault them with the environment, and then you see how they change, like how they change morally, ethically, what even constitutes right or wrong in this world. Are you protecting yourself? Is it okay? You're protecting your family? Are you protecting humanity? So what do you feel like, Steve, is the biggest... Because Glenn has really changed a lot since the beginning. I mean, he was essentially... In the beginning, he was just kind of like this gopher errand boy, like, hey, I'll do whatever. And then he became, like, ripped and...
No.
And, like, beat the crap out of people with chairs. And he's really gone through, he's really gone through a physical and an emotional transformation.
Show us those abs.
It's a donut.
What the people want.
I think that's the heart of storytelling, is to see an input and then an output on the other end, and being able to see that. I think there's a lot of shows that, just anything that sometimes plays the cliche of just taking a character away for no reason, like just killing them off. It's like there's some shock there. There's some craziness there just to scare you, or for people to think like everyone's able to go. But what I love about our show is there's a clear input you see the character as it comes into this world. Then you see this character. Maybe you see it travel over several stages, but you see an output before maybe they meet their demise. And like a perfect example, spoilers if you guys haven't seen this season.
If you've not seen the season, you should not be in this theater
you
right
shouldn't
now.
be here.
And it's really your fault.
You should go home. But Scott's character Herschel, clear input. Like, I want to protect my family who are walkers. Like, I want this. Like, these are still people, we can save them. To who he became afterwards, falling down, but then also picking himself up and becoming the person that he was, who instills all that, and then he's taken away. And I think that's what's beautiful about this show, and that's what I love about my character, is that there's this constant movement towards an output. And we don't know when or where it's going to end, but I'm really excited as an actor to be able to take it from point A to far, far point B. Far.
Really
like
far
way
into
over.
Yeah.
Far.
Yeah, because
like season 5?
Like season,
season
20.
a million, man.
Yeah, season million, for sure.
Spin-off thing.
Yeah. I want animatronic legs by the time I'm done. I want cyborg legs.
Well, so what about you, Lauren? What do you feel like? What's Maggie's growth been since we first saw her? Where have you seen her go in the past couple of seasons?
I feel like some of the biggest change with her has actually been this season. And a big part of that really was propelled by the mid-season and by losing Herschel and by them all losing the prison, because so much of what you've seen Maggie is sort of this feistiness, but within a protective environment. And even as they traveled into season 3 and into this prison, like, she's bestowed with the strength and the sort of the responsibility that the men are, because, you know, we have my sister who's very young, and then we have the Laurie character who's pregnant, and we have, you know, so she's an able body to go into this environment. But what's been really fun and interesting for me now is taking away Glenn, again, a spoiler alert, taking away, you know, the
Glenn didn't die yet.
No, he didn't die. Don't say yet.
Super spoiler.
Can't take those muscles away.
You all die eventually.
We all do, actually. It's a fact.
Spoiler, life spoiler. Thanks.
But it's hard to reconcile sometimes the loss of someone like Herschel, and I think there's been this sort of moral baton that was passed with Dale, and then we saw that sort of carried through with Herschel, and now you sort of say, what does it mean? And it's actually a question I think is a great one for Scott Gimple too, because it's like, what does it mean? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm actually just, but what does it mean to lose those characters, and the amazing way that it propels story, and especially with Herschel, like, I think that's propelled. It's sort of like you see these like seedlings going off, and everyone is sort of doing something in faith of him and in respect of his life now in the second half, it feels like.
Yeah, that is a good question for Scott.
But that's such a better answer than I can provide.
No, but I want to know the whole
but I mean,
behind the scenes.
I mean, as far as when a character, I mean, from when, you know, second season on, from when a character dies, it should I mean, this is basics, but it should absolutely affect and change the other characters. It should be something that lives on with the other characters. I think as far as this season, what you were saying about Herschel, I mean, Herschel directly affects Glenn's actions. I mean, right afterwards, Herschel's death impacts Rick so unbelievably, and, you know, we'll see towards even in the finale just the journey that he's made. I mean,
well, Rick's getting pinballed by deaths, basically. I mean, it's like he gets thrown in one direction because of Laurie, and then he gets thrown in another direction. I mean, like, he's just constantly thrown. Like, how does a character like that? I mean, and you guys, no one feels safe. I mean, to me, not even. I think people would go, well, Rick's probably safe, but I don't. At this point, I don't even know. Like, it feels like no one. I might get killed off on Talking Dead. I don't even know. I have no idea. I might get a call from you and be like,
just careful. I mean, we're working on things for the finale of The Talking Dead.
on Talking Dead, I'm gonna do what you should never do, which is to walk backwards and then you
And
get it.
if you see us talking to Jonah Ray, I mean,
No.
it means nothing.
Jonah would do a good job.
He would, wouldn't he?
Oh well, not unless I murder him first. But
That's the twist.
what? Oh, and I just said it out loud. Crap. But I know that it's that character deaths aren't something that you guys take lightly, and I know you've said, well, in the comic they're just drawings, and so it's a lot easier just to go, they're gone. But these are people that you work with, and these are people. that you're
Robert
friends with.
does need to call the drawings.
Yeah, no, I don't. That's not. Yeah, it's actually a lot harder when they're represented by real people, and so.
Why won't you look at her? She's
much
sitting.
more
Why don't you look
difficult.
at your actors? They're right there. They're human beings.
Listen, prop.
Shed blood.
Ah,
I was kidding.
I know.
Anyway.
She's giving you water.
But I mean,
Poison water.
even from a fan basis, I mean, coming from a place of being a fan of the show, having watched season 1 and worked on season 2, when Dale died, that was wild. I mean, that was really heavy to this, to have this character that you really fell in love with on the, watching TV, and then being one of the people that are helping script their death. It's not fun, and sitting around set and talking to Jeffrey DeMunn before that, I mean, it's just a very weird feeling. On top of that, working on the show, we're in this little town that's south of Atlanta where we spend really, really long hours together, day after day after day, and with a crew that just puts it all out there. I don't know. It just gets heavy when people leave, and it gets heavy when that character leaves, because if you're really, really thinking, through that character's brain and through those characters' eyes, oh my God, this is going to be so cheesy. And I'm going to say it to Robert, who has no tolerance for cheese.
Go on.
It's, I mean, if you write these characters, if you feel these characters, when they die, I'm going to say it, a little part of you dies.
Still not worse than Street Level, the thing I said earlier. It's still way not worse than that. That's at least, I mean, I do understand that, though, because when you're living with these characters, I mean, if you're inhabiting these characters, or you're putting words into, you're essentially creating the, giving them direction and stuff. It is a piece of, like, you have all the characters in your head, I'm sure, and when they're not there anymore, there is probably it's a weird sense of loss, that's not an option anymore, that it's just gone.
I mean, it is very strange. It's even slightly embarrassing, because I enjoyed writing for Merle. I wrote Merle's death, and it was just super weird. It was just...
Why'd you do that, Scott? Why couldn't he have lived?
Well, it was in the comic. I mean, who could forget Merle's death?
Merle was not in the comic. What are you talking about? There was no Daryl
Oh, no, it was totally in issues...
all Scott's fault.
Issue 63.
Well, how do you as performers feel? Like, do you feel like, oh, it's just this grand circle of life on the show. Sooner or later, we all get it, and hopefully we have a glorious Klingon death.
No.
Or does it feel like, oh, I really, why does this have to happen? I mean, what are the emotions that you feel knowing that at any point you could get called into Scott's office for the talk?
Which I will say, calling anybody on this show for anything gets so intense. And
hello, please don't kill me. I just want to know if you want to have lunch.
No, but that's the thing. And like when I call
Please don't kill me
up,
at lunch.
when I call up and I get voicemail, I just sigh, because I'm like, oh God, like that means another 15 minutes or 30 minutes or hour that they're gonna.
You
think.
have a damn responsibility to not leave messages like, "Hey, it's Scott. I just want to talk.
I
Give me a
never
call."
do that.
Like, you have to call and say, "I'm calling because I want to go to lunch and talk about nothing that involves the show."
Oh, exactly. And you have to leave a message. You can't just hang up.
Right.
They'll see you called. So it's like, this is specifically what I am calling about.
Next
Scott
next time we're in the
messaged-
writer's room, I'm going to get your cell phone and I'm just going to call a bunch of actors.
Or,
and
or you could just, like, when they're shooting, you could, like, grab Lauren's cell phone and just replace all the contacts with Scott Gimple's name. So you would never know. He's calling me all the time. What is happening?
No, Scott's one of the people you pick up. You're in the middle of dinner, and you're like, "Hey, what's up?" No, I'm just because I like to talk to you, though.
How come you don't turn off your read receipts?
What's that?
I know when you read my texts.
You should
gotta turn that off,
feature
man.
off.
I'm just
Really
joking.
turn that feature off. But how do you feel being a part of this process and knowing that, you know, sooner or later, whenever it is, that there will be an endpoint?
Yeah, I think, I mean, at least for me, it's of course a disappointment if it would, just because of how Scott talked about our crew and our life out there. Like, it's really kind of, you'd miss everybody. You don't want to move. You don't want to leave everyone. But I feel like anything I say now is going to give some certainty in one direction or the other, which is not the case. But you just want to stay present. And I think this show has just been a great lesson in staying present, which is something that as an actor and on any job, you don't know how long you're going to be there. But you just want to be there longer on this one because you really like it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a good I mean, does the success of the show ever kind of get in the way? I mean, like, just in terms of, you know, you're actors and you show up to inhabit these characters, but the show is so popular that it's almost like sometimes, you know, you go to work and people are like lined up and they're taking, you know, and you just need like, oh, I just need to get to it. Does the level of success the show has, which is pretty epic, does that ever get in the way of just the performance part?
I think something really important to mention here is Andy Lincoln, who sets such an incredible tone on our show, and it has taught all of us who probably joined the show at the same time or have joined the show subsequently to keep it so real. And like, that's why sometimes we do leave the Georgia bubble, and it's overwhelming. Like, even sitting in here and being in the street or being anywhere and sort of experiencing that fandom is such a compliment and such an honor, but it also doesn't change the fact that when we get to work, we have work to do. Like, there's just that's what we're there to do. And so we just are really to try and out cheese your cheese earlier, like, have a really, you know, beautiful family here who has all that agreement, you know. So.
That's not cheesy. That's
Yeah,
nice.
Okay.
I was hoping you would out cheese my cheese.
Oh shoot!
Try again.
Okay, Stephen, out cheese him.
Oh man.
Now you need to get up and be like, I believe the children are.
What Lauren said. I mean, yeah.
I mean, you essentially this was your first like big job,
Yeah.
right? So you went from a guy who, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Stephen also has a background in comedy, like a very strong background in comedy training in Second City and it was Second City or IO?
Both.
Both of the Second
Yeah.
City and Iowa. So, you know, to basically go from a guy that you might see like, you know, in Chicago just doing comedy in a theater, and then all of a sudden for free to all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, it's Glenn, oh my God, you know, like that, that kind of almost happened overnight in a way.
It really did. That took a little bit of an adjustment. And for me, it was a lot. I realized there was a lot of like insecurity wrapped around that, because you're like, I don't know if I deserve this. Like, what is going on? And you kind of freak out about that. It's more of an internal struggle than it is anything. Like, if someone says like, "Yo, I like your show," that's awesome. Or they're like, "Hey, I really like, you know, what you do," and that's awesome. But then, what made me bug out was I was always wrapped around like, I don't know if have you been watching? Like, I don't know if you know. Like, and for me, everyone's their own worst critic, but that was the hardest thing to kind of overcome, especially considering like the stakes where I was coming from were so low. It's like, hey, show up on Tuesday if you want to, and don't get paid, and we're gonna make 'em ups. You know what I mean? So it was jarring, but very, very grateful for it still at the same time.
Are you able to watch the show?
Yeah, not with anybody else.
You mean you don't invite a bunch of friends over and be like, shh, I'm the Glenn's talking.
No, I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that goes like, oh, I mean, that one could have been if they'd used, man, just look at if you that day I didn't feel as good for like I came in with a tummy ache thing, and then it was all like if you could see it, if I just try. Like, it's that annoying that I think at this point it's not me not wanting to watch it with other people. It's other people not wanting to watch it with me.
He's not kidding.
Yeah. So
It's very hard. I mean, I don't know, and he's been public about this, so it's okay for me to say this, but Andy Lincoln won't watch the show because he doesn't want to have his performance or anything affect how he approaches the character. He just doesn't want to get in his head about it. And, knowing that he's probably predisposed to be hypercritical or feel weird about it, he just, I guess smartly goes, well, I'm not even going to let that crawl into my brain.
But it's funny that he does. I mean, he has to watch it for ADR.
Sure.
So he sees a little
Busted.
bit. Well, it's just funny because he sees a little bit of every episode, and he's extremely self-critical. But you might have noticed, again, spoiler alerts, that there are some episodes he's not in.
Yeah.
This half season, so I'm trying to get him to watch an episode.
You're not even in this
Yes.
one.
Yes. Make sure there's no coming attractions or anything.
Yeah, it's so funny because I wonder with Andy if it's like the whole mystique of the world. Like Andy wants to just believe the apocalypse is this real thing. It's like he's very, but it keeps us all real.
You guys know better than me. He does. I mean, he lives it. We were on set for 401. Okay, we're working on season 5 right now. We were on set for 401. Now I'm frightened that I'm going to say something.
And then
Careful.
when
careful.
Daryl's head came off, oh crap. Oh. No, I know. You can't even joke about that with people. You can't even joke about that.
No. Anyways, this story was definitely not worth the lead up. So I'm just preparing you for that now. The pigs broke free. We had pigs. Another spoiler alert. And he was sitting there rounding up pigs. We had people to round up pigs. We had professionals to round up pigs. But he was running after Truffle, picking her up and rounding the pig up. I told you.
How do you guys, the show there are very few happy moments on the show. It really just goes from intense to horrifying to incredibly sad. So it's a strain, not only physically but emotionally. So how do you guys shake it off at the end of a day when you've been crying all day or swinging a no parking sign at a bunch of zombies all day? How are you able to come back into reality and sort of shake off the emotional residue of the day?
The first time I knew that I really needed to figure out a way to do that better was after 304 when I give the C-section to Laurie, and doing that scene, it was myself and Chandler and Sarah in the room, and it was just we were in a small room with a lot of emotion, and she's giving this farewell speech to her son, and I'm taking a baby out of her stomach, and it's like there is no way you cannot be as Lauren and as your physical person so affected by that situation. To a degree I had no anticipation of. Like, we finished that scene and I almost threw up because I was just so kind of viscerally affected. And I was like, okay, I need to figure out some stuff. And then you just sort of, I guess, pick up little things, and you literally go and sing a happy song. You go and do whatever it is you need to get the rest of that energy out.
Or Beth will do that for you.
Or Beth will do that for you, yeah. But it's a process, definitely, through the whole show of figuring out how to sort of conscientiously to your psyche pull that stuff up and let it out, and it's a fun little measuring act, balancing act. Mm-hmm.
How do you do it, Steve? How do you?
I don't know. I'm pretty horrible to be around for the entirety of the season. No, you realize you just like your body can stave off like a cold or like a flu just the right amount of time before you have to accomplish something, and then you get sick after it's all done.
When you go on vacation, then your whole vacation,
you get housed. That happens to me every time. So every year since the second season, I have gone back home and just spent a month ravaged. My stomach won't function. I have headaches, and it's crazy.
Well, because you're still feeling your tricky. Your brain doesn't know.
I'm not saying I don't like.
Oh, it sounds like
do you need
sounds like we got a complainer over here.
what I'm saying
Scott,
is
call him
like
right now. Call him on stage.
You ready to go?
is that you do harbor a lot of things, and I think that's a testament again to what Lauren was saying, which is like, you know, Andy did set such a good precedent on there that, you know, everyone goes for it so hard that sometimes you forget how twisted like your brain gets for a second to get yourself there. Like even in the scenes that earlier on when Glenn finds himself alone, I listened to the most depressing music for like 3 days straight, and like just went there. And I remember after I got out of that, I was like, what the heck? I'm like super effed up, and I have to like relax and like go watch a movie or something. But then you realize like the next week you have to be right back in it. So I just kind of stew in it until I'm done, and then I go take a vacation, and then my closest family and friends have to deal with me for a while. Sorry.
I mean, it is kind of a I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh man, it'd be really awesome to be on the show. But every time I watch, it just I see the work, and I've been to the set, and I see how it is when you guys are essentially just isolated out in Georgia with just each other. I mean, it's pretty brilliant that you're shooting it where you're shooting it, because it probably does put you in that sense of like, oh yeah, we're really out in the middle of nowhere, and you know,
There's something I was just.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No.
Oh, I was just thinking. We kind of have permission to be really messy on the show, and because it asks for such emotional things, like you go into these little zones, and like I was just thinking about the bus scene when I think that you're on the bus, and that was like, you know, a big long day of being in this horrible zone, and you just like. I think it's just, you know, our crew morphs into this like fun crew that knows when to be jovial and when to all remember that it really isn't the end of the world, and when to really just like step back and give you just this support and space to just get messy. Like we just get messy. It's really about that.
Well, it's probably also hard not to. I mean, because even when Nicotero brought Herschel's head onto Talking Dead, I had to start feeding it pudding because I was so freaked out by it. You have to be like, this isn't real. Eat some pudding. Yum, yum, yum. You know, it's Pudding Wednesdays or whatever.
Can I just point out, when Nicotero brought Herschel's head to the Talking Dead, I had to feed it pudding. Sometimes I hear things like this, and I'm just like, what is my life?
You created this.
Because you said all that, and I was like, yeah, that's a normal thing.
That's a thing that happens.
That's a normal thing.
Real, all those words check
it's
out.
Not a normal thing.
Yeah, that's
I will say, though, like, to connect that thing from, like, what is written to what is done as from an actor standpoint, like, that is what we sign up for, and that is why I feel so fortunate to have a job like this, because I'm in...
That's cheesy. That's
Hold
what
on.
Here we go.
I'm trying to okay. It's like people ask like, what really is your job? Like, what is, you have the acting and that's tangible, and like, but it's like, what is your profession? What is your thing? And you realize, like, I'm very fortunate to be an eternal like student, and I get to do stuff that I would never get to do in real life. But just even if in a make-believe situation, like, we're going for it. And like, for me, like, as much as I, you know, just 5 minutes ago sounded like I was being such a baby about it, but it's like, it's as much as I say that, it's more in terms of like, I enjoy it, as sadistic as it is. Like, I really enjoy going to that weird place, because I would have never figured to be there in my actual life. And we'll see to what extremes I'll take that, but like, it's interesting, you know, like, if you get to be a drug lord for a thing, that's fun. Like, you get to
That's
get drugged
coming.
with. Yeah, you know?
And
like,
once you're there, it's like so great. You know, once we're all down there, you don't want to be somewhere else. You get to just play.
Well,
That's crazy.
When Vince Gilligan was on the podcast once, and he said that I said, "Oh, do you enjoy writing?" And he goes, "I enjoy having written." Like, the process was very intense, but he enjoys, in hindsight, he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad I did that thing. I'm so glad that thing is done." Are you able to enjoy the process as it's happening, or is it all retrospectively where you go, "Oh, that was all amazing"?
I think it's
happening.
in as it's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
I miss it. I feel like I'm more alive there than that's a big reveal, but more alive there than in most of my life. So,
Well, where else in your life are you swinging
right?
stabs at people's faces and
Yeah.
Well,
where
the
things
best-
really
and finger
matter.
painting with blood?
The best part is honestly like if like let's say Lauren and I do a scene, like we'll walk away after like a good take and we'll look at each other and be like, that was awesome. Like, it felt so fun to do. Like it clicks. Like there's some gut reaction to like it just felt right and truthful. And to me, like to get that feeling is worth it. So it is fun while we're doing it.
And in our show, you know, there's still always people that you think, oh, I can't wait to get into it with them and like have an experience, have a scene with them. And I don't know. I just sound like such a fan of the show right now.
Well, it's this is probably a good time to spin this into audience questions. Then, if you would like to carefully line up, then you see there's microphones on two sides. That's not carefully, sir. That's not carefully.
Yeah, it was going
that was
good from the
very
beginning.
carelessly. Did you
Went
run
well
down
in the start.
the incline? So let's start on this side with this lady. What is your name?
Hi, Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany. What's your question?
I was going to say, first off, I really enjoyed the second half of this season with splitting up the characters. A lot of shows, when you take an ensemble cast and kind of scatter them like that, it gets really, really muddled. But the writing's been so well in developing the characters and kind of taking them different places, especially last week's episode. It was really great seeing Bob's kind of origin story. But I had a question, as actors, how does that make you feel, spending the second half of the season split up?
I do want to say thank you.
I don't feel like that was Bob's actual origin story. There's something weird about that guy.
You're really on that.
I am so on this. Something's not right with that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It's-
But yeah, how does
I
it feel?
think I think Jonah Ray would be good.
Stop it.
Yeah.
It's funny, the second half of the season I was so looking forward to. When we sat down with Scott, we all kind of have like a meeting with Scott at the beginning of each season, and he gives us a tidbit of what might come. But he did say the second half we were going to go with this new sort of indie route, and we were going to kind of go explore a new thing with The Walking Dead. And when he described how that might unfold, it was the stuff that I was most looking forward to. And I have so enjoyed the second half of this season too, just as a viewer and as a player in the whole thing, getting to see where people are coming from and getting kind of a deeper conversation with all these characters. This week's is awesome. Like my favorite.
The one that's coming up?
The one that's coming up.
I haven't seen it.
Sundays.
The producers
Look
of,
out.
the producers of
Yeah.
Talking Dead said, we don't recommend that you watch this episode alone. That's all they said.
It's so good.
So
Yeah.
I will say, like, to be split up, you're also split up as actors too. So it kind of imitates life imitates art in that sense, because you are now, one of you is not on set for weeks at a time, and the other person, you don't see each other, just like the characters don't see each other. So those dynamics definitely play if and when ever they see each other again.
Yep. This half season, the vibe on set was very weird because people were missing each other, and people were even showing up who weren't in the episode
A
to
lot.
hang out, or even to like help out, run
It's
lines.
lunch. It's the
and
free
things.
lunch.
It's a very good lunch. No, it was something I didn't think about, that like everybody was going to be missing everybody.
Totally.
And, it was of great use.
great. Thank you very much, Tiffany. You, sir, what is your name?
Hi. I'm gonna get in trouble for this probably. This is more of a statement with a question as well.
There's still time to back out.
No, I just wanted to say, keep up the killing of people. I know it's obviously in the comic, and we were just talking
we're
about
gonna
it.
do that.
I know, but don't be afraid of doing it. It really makes this one of the most.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
Oh yeah,
Don't be afraid to kill
enriches
people.
my life.
Come
It's
down
gonna
here
feel
and
weird
say
at
that.
first, but you can push through it.
Killing people really enriches my life. No, but it's just the fact that like I have to grip my couch while I'm watching this show, that I'm like praying that somebody doesn't die or something. It is the
Hold
most
on, you just
compelling
said
thing.
people should die.
I am.
But he doesn't want them to
I know.
die,
I don't
but he
want
thinks
them
they
to die.
should for the story.
Even like Daryl, which mentioned, it'll kill me, right? Right? It'll kill me.
Is that a yes?
if
Are
he
you
ever
guys
dies.
asking for that? I can't tell.
But
Okay, we'll do it.
but it's great. On that,
Scott
actually, my
Colmorman.
question was actually, would it be a lot easier to kill the people in the comics because you've got that background where, oh, well, look, they might have already died, and as opposed to when you contemplate killing somebody like Daryl, who's not in the comics, you get all this drama. Like, can you guys
How
maybe...
often do we contemplate killing Daryl? It seems like it. I like how the room got quiet.
I have such a horrible poker face. I always avoid those questions.
Well, I'm not
are
asking
you
if you're
saying,
gonna kill him.
Is it easier to kill people who have already died in the comic?
Yeah.
And that's where Steven gets all nervous. It's
We have a bet on you, Glenn.
It has to serve the story, and we emulate the comic a great deal, and then we move away from the comic sometimes. Sometimes we have to, because, like Daryl isn't in the comic.
Or you'll see things. I like to see the touch points where you see something transmute, where it's like, oh, this happened to this other character, but now it's happened to this character in the show. So it's like elements of things.
Sometimes it's done because we're inspired to. Sometimes we have to because if there's something we dug from the comic that we can't do. But people who are on the show now are dead in the comic in the same timeline. So no, it doesn't matter. It's always hard to kill a character, but if it's for a good story, if there's a point to it, we'll do it. And it doesn't mean that every character has to have like a big speech before they die either. But you should care about them. You should not be cheering if a character dies.
There are some characters that I've cheered for.
Well, that's unfortunate.
And for the record, this is not a vote to kill Daryl. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
His address.
That ended sort of like a political speech.
I was just gonna say,
He's gonna be outside.
all of a sudden, this just turned into C-SPAN.
Well, my wife is going to kill me for even saying it.
Thank you for being here. I never got your name, but nice to meet you.
He won't. Oh, say it.
No, stop it.
My name is Tyler.
Tyler. Yes, what is
You guys
your
got
name,
a lot
sir?
of energy.
Hi, my name is Jason, and I wanted to know, in the writer's room, are there certain characters that the writers are like, oh, I know this person's voice, I think this is really good, and they usually write for that kind of character?
We don't have a really good handle on Glenn or Maggie, to be honest. So that's
One was
always a
just
tough one.
in-
It's all improvised, right? You
Yeah.
guys just improv that.
Yeah.
Who's taking this one?
One whole script came in Spanish for me, and it was like, I don't understand. How
Put
this
through
works.
Google Translate. So it was.
Los muertos.
For the most part, especially because of the ensemble nature of the show, we all handle the characters. I think there's. I have never called out any of the writers for this, but I have suspicions from like which writers like favor which characters, or at least which characters are writers' favorites. But because it's an ensemble show, we all write them and we all do it together. So, yeah, there isn't a specific go-to guy or go-to girl for a specific character. Super boring answer.
but a good answer nonetheless. Thank you so much. What is your name, sir?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Jeffrey. My question's for Lauren. It has to do with the most recent episode. When you were finger painting and you wrote Glenn, go to Terminus, why didn't you include Beth's name?
Yeah, this comes up. I think that one thing I feel we've gotten to know about the Glenn character is that he sort of has things in control. And I feel like she knows, or she hopes that if she finds him, that he'll be with Beth and he will have sort of be at the helm of the rest of the missing Scooby-Doo gang. And I also feel like when I watched the episode, because I had certain questions about it, when I watched the episode back, it reminded me of season 1 in the tank when Rick is at the end and there's despair and you just hear this voice and it's Glenn, and it's kind of like it felt to me like a sort of symbol of that, of who the Glenn character is. And that's been, just going back to Tiffany's question, the separation of us all through this has been fun to watch because I can watch it more objectively, not being in, a few of the episodes, but also fun to see the relationship existing as this third thing. Like you see Glenn separately, you see Maggie separately, and then they're both sort of running towards the savior of their relationship or the finding of each other. And it's kind of creates almost another entity. It's been really, so I don't know. I think that's this whole philosophical back half that's been really kind of, I don't know.
Okay,
It's
thank
going to
you.
be really awkward
could
if you see Beth again.
I ran out of blood. I'm sorry.
I
was
know,
gonna put
I know.
Beth-
Could I
Well,
also
I
add
mean-
just one more thing really quick?
Yeah.
Steven, I missed you on like a bunch of occasions where you're at like UCLA for like an event. And then even like late night talk shows with like Craig Ferguson. I was wondering if I could request like a quick selfie picture with both Lauren and Steven.
Yeah. Should we do it now or after?
Whenever you do it, don't stab either of them, please.
I'll just run up really quick right
Okay,
now. If that's
I'll be a friendly judge. I'll allow it, but just really quickly, and then
Okay.
we can't have a bunch of people running up taking selfies. But we'll let you because.
So this guy asked first, so he gets it. Anyone
Yeah,
else
that's
we're
right.
going to turn
But
down.
nobody else.
That's right.
Sorry about your luck.
Security.
Fortune favors the bold. Oh, I'm taking it now?
That's not. That's. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it for you. I'll take it for you.
You said selfie, so...
1, 2, 3, and then just because of fun. Whoa! All right, there you go. Thank you very
Get
much.
off the stage.
Get out of here. All right, what is your name, sir? What's your question?
Hi, my name's Eddie, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for creating such a great show that everyone loves, because I work on the retail end of the comic industry, and since the show hit, we cannot keep the trade paperbacks on the shelf. So thank
Love
you
the sound
very
of
much
that.
for that.
Thank you.
I've got two things for you, Robert. We get a lot of people that walk in the shop. They're fans of the show. They walk in the shop. They've never been in a comic shop before in their lives, and they come in because they want to start reading The Walking Dead. And they always ask, is the comic just like the show? And when I get around to telling them that Daryl is not in the comic,
Don't tell them.
well,
Daryl's great. He shows
Are they
up in
asking-
issue 100.
they keep
they come in with a
they
checklist?
ask,
Like,
what
which
is the show? Is it
characters?
like the show? What's different about it? And I say that. For now on, I'm not going to, I guess. But when I do, they look at me with such shock and heartbreak that my question is, do you have any plans to put Daryl in the comic? Because I feel like I want to tell him something to comfort them.
I feel like the best way to do that would be to kill him off in the show, so that then it's like the real Daryl like came into the comic, so I could put him in the comic after he's dead on the show.
Like in the Aha video, Take on Me, where you trap him.
Yeah, exactly like that. We could do like a special episode,
Whatever
and
will
then
make
it would
my
be
job
like,
easier.
"Hey, everybody,
Yeah.
Daryl's not really dead by
You
the
just
comics."
you just
I think
sentenced
that
two
would be-
people to death.
Which comic shop? Which store do you work at?
Jeffrey's Comics in Gardena.
Oh, nice. Oh, excellent. Couple people.
It's an okay store.
And it's all right, but if I can get just serious for one moment, we do have one regular customer in our shop. Her name is Brianna, and she's 15 years old, and she was just diagnosed, unfortunately, with a brain tumor. And as you can guess, she's facing some real serious surgery, and her family, unfortunately, is probably going to be facing some really serious medical expenses. We are having a huge fundraiser for her in April 12th. Everybody, please come out. And a lot of people in the comic industry have really stepped up and donated things like sketches, signed items, all kinds of cool things like that. And I just wanted to ask you, Robert, if you have some people that I might be able to contact on this.
Right here in the front row, she's waving.
Okay, I'll talk to you after.
Just work
Thank
it
you.
out with June here, and
All right,
we'll
thank
make
you.
sure that happens.
Thank you. And
I'll
Chris,
make sure that I send the good stuff too.
cool. We appreciate it.
I'll donate myself. I mean,
Some-
I won't bring a lot, but
Yeah.
You can
Please,
auction
Chris,
me.
Trust me, you are not the only one that's been bullied and beaten up at school for bringing Atari cartridges.
did you bring the 2600 cartridges to school? I couldn't play them at school.
Yes,
I just
I
had
know,
to have them
but
close
we had
by.
them. It was our comfort blanket.
It was a comfort blanket.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you, man. Nice to
Yeah.
see you. And now it is your turn.
Hi, my name's Noah, and so I was just wondering, the effects on the show are pretty graphic, and like in season 1, you had to cover yourself with guts, Steven, and recently in the last episode, you had to dip your hands into someone's stomach, and even you, Chris, you had to hold Herschel's head. And
I did. Well, you don't even know. If you watched Talking Dead last week, you find out that what actually got cut was Lauren pulled a walker onto her body, and it just dropped all of its guts onto her.
It was a disguise. It wasn't just for sport, but it was, a gut one.
We knew we weren't going to use it in the episode. We just wanted to give it a try.
These cruel people.
Yeah, and so I was wondering, do any of you get grossed out by the actual graphics, like having to reach in?
No, it's so fun. I look forward to those times, actually. Yeah, sadist.
It's pretty gross.
You?
Yeah, it's visually gross. Luckily, like they don't use anything putrid or anything like that. But honestly, that second episode of first season was disgusting. Andy will tell you for sure. We were sweating, and it was disgusting. It was bad.
I know, because a lot of people have said, "Hey, Chris Hardwick, you should be a walker in the background." And Greg and Nick Charles been like, "Hey, man, come down. We'll make you walk." But then you have to understand. I don't know how the extras do it. It's the dead of summer in Atlanta, where you wouldn't want to be just as a regular person. And then covered in head to toe with prosthetics and the kind of, I mean, I know it sounds like, oh, poor actors got, but it really is an intense process. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get all the process done. And then you're just in it all day, just outside in the sun with, I mean, I think it is so much more intense than people realize, that it's almost like the stamina that the actors have and the extras as well.
And they're wearing contacts and they have to act on top of that. I will say about gore, in 306, Michonne cuts this walker open when she's fighting Merle in the forest, and I wrote that episode, so it's on set for that, and I think I described it like she slices this rotted stomach open. It's like a disgusting jackpot. So I worked with Nicotero. We made it so the cuts open. Andy, one of the guys who works, not Andy Lincoln, Andy who works with Greg, was the walker, and we made it Greg made it. I just wrote it. That just the guts pour out, and they pour out onto Denai. And she's covered in guts and like sausage casings and horrible things. And she goes, okay, that's the last take of that. That's the last take. Cool. She just runs up to me and gives me a big hug. So that night, I got to do my laundry in the hotel, and I put my very bloody shirt in there. And I write a note to the Wyndhams saying, please note, this is not real blood. I work for The Walking Dead. And everything worked out fine.
And so one of my favorite scenes on the show is in season 2 when Glenn has to climb into the well to get the walker out. Yeah. And so afterwards, I was hoping I could, slip you my number and we could recreate the scene in my backyard.
Oh, wow.
Who's the well walker?
That took a turn.
That really took.
Can I show up? I'll be the well.
Steven, you get that number.
That's
wow.
You have
I'm
to do that.
unfortunately spoken for, but thank you very much.
No, you have to do that. You have to do that.
All
now.
right.
He's probably gone to a lot of trouble to build. I'm sure it's like. I mean, you'd be disappointed.
He built. Oh, okay, yeah, we could do that.
Hey, I built a well for you in my backyard. Can you come to my house?
He's trapped like Honey Boo Boo's mom in the well.
Well,
how many victims do you have, sir?
Not enough, because instead of a well, I have like a half-foot deep fire pit.
Excellent.
That's
Well, thank you. We'll all come over to your house afterwards.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
What is your name? What is your question?
My name is Jaron.
We were all kidding. Don't kill us.
He's fine.
This question is more for Stephen and Robert. What are your guys' opinion on issue 100 and putting that in the TV show?
Oh, that's a tough
how do you feel
question.
about that?
If you read issue 102, you know exactly how I feel about that in the letter hack section. No, honestly, when I remember reading it, it was so funny. My cousin reads the comic religiously now, and he was like, "Dude, I don't feel good, man. Issue 100's coming up, and like someone's probably has to go, and like I don't know, man. It could be you because you seem to be doing so well on the thing." And then inevitably it was, and to me, how it happened was perfect. To snatch a character like that away from the grips of the reader. Without any explanation, without any final say, nothing, and just like be like, peace, this dude's gone now. And all you have is his bloody head left. That's awesome. I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. For me, how to go back to that other question about like how I feel about, our potential doom, like, I'm not going to sit here and say I wouldn't be upset if I was not on the show anymore, but at the same time, I think I've been a part of something that's very cool in creating and changing a character, and I think if his end comes, that would be a freaking cool ass way to do it.
I mean, for those of you who haven't read it, he slips in the shower, and that's
Yeah,
pretty much it. Yeah. It's
they
not
find
like a
they
glorious...
find running water
Yeah.
and sewage, and he
Yeah.
just eats it. He just eats it. That's all.
I mean, it is when that issue messed me up for about a week because it's very visceral and it's
Sorry?
So imagine if you were a longtime reader of the comic book.
Oh, this is a good story.
A reader of the comic book who's a pretty big fan and has been even before working in television. Then you wind up on a television program of the same name. And you're sitting in the writer's room with the creator of the program, who you consider a friend. And so you're 99 issues into a book.
It was like 96 or 97
All right,
at the time.
No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And just sitting on the couch eating lunch, the creator just tells you that this major character dies. Just tells you.
Oh, he spoiled it! Oh!
So we were all...
And I'm sitting there eating my lunch, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" because I will say, I get to things late. Like, I'm still telling people not to spoil Unbreakable for me. But I read the comic every month, and the joy with which he took that.
Well, when I told him that it messed me up for a week, he just goes, don't be such a friggin' baby. And I'm like, it was rough.
I've got personality issues. So, well, first of all, I feel like you were like really mad at me. I was shocked.
I mean,
you just looked across the table. You were like, what? Did you just...
It wasn't about killing the character. It was about, why not telling me? Well, I mean,
in the writer's room, we were all talking about the character and where to go with it and what to... I don't know, something.
No, it was sadly... No. Sadly, no business was being conducted.
No, there was something... There was something that was coming up. I don't know what it was. It didn't really have anything to do with Glenn. I don't know why I brought it up, but in my head, I was like... Oh, I should tell them about this thing. And then I was like, I don't want to spoil it for them. And then in my head, I was like, you're an idiot. They work on The Walking Dead 12 hours a day. They don't care about that comic. What is the matter with you?
This is
Just
hogwash.
tell them. And so then I said it, and then everyone was mad. And I was like, that was a mistake. I am never doing that, ever. I was thinking, these are the people I can share my torment with. I can talk to these people.
We remember this very differently.
Else. I can tell them what I'm doing, and they'll respond, and it'll be a thing I can share with people instead of keeping it in my head forever. But
you create a story.
It's
It's not a list.
Do you want to talk about this later?
Yeah, we should. This is like
Hopefully
like a weird
hopefully
geek Jerry Springer kind of.
Hopefully, the stage-hands are gonna come in and like hold you guys back from each other. Hopefully, the reopening this wound answered your question.
I just realized you're wearing a Lucille shirt.
Oh my!
Oh no way!
Come on.
Yeah. figures very prominently. Oh, does that make you feel weird seeing it on a shirt?
There's a lot of hostile Steven questions happening.
Yeah, I know. No, it's cool. It's just a.
You have one of those shirts, Steven? I can get you one.
Can you get me an actual bat?
Yeah,
I want a Lucille bat.
I can get you one of those.
Yeah.
You can get a Negan action figure to just like crush.
I would like that as well.
Here's my issue 100, bitch.
That was actually a tough scene for me to. We'll move on in a minute. I apologize. But that was a really tough scene for me to write, comic book wise, because I'd had it planned for a long time. But when I was writing it, I was like, "Oh, this is the first character I've ever killed in the comic that's currently being played by an actor on the show." Like that had never happened before, because up until that point, like anyone that had died in the comic hadn't been introduced in the show yet, and other people had died a long time ago, like before they were even cast. So
how was it? How was it like? What was your actual choice to not let Glenn have like a final, like, oh, I'm gonna do this and then die? Like it was literally like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, boom, gone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought of the eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing because I was like, oh, that'll be really cool. Like, I wanted to introduce Negan as a character in a grand way, and I wanted him to come in like an overpowering way, so that he could kind of exert that you're not in control, I'm in control.
Yeah. Not only that, but it instantly made you hate the character forever. Like you instantly made you hate Negan forever. Mm-hmm. That there's almost no way that he could ever redeem himself.
And that was the weird thing about that. Is the weird thing about that character is that character is so colorful, so funny. That issue with him and Carl. The worst thing about it, and I do love Glenn from the comic book. I love Glenn from the show, but the weird thing about Negan is cashing that check of introducing that guy like that. He still is. He's a guy who cracks jokes and you laugh at it. Mm-hmm. He is a funny character. He is this character that just commands the stage whenever he steps on, whether on street level or
I'd say one douchey thing by accident. But it is, and then we'll keep taking questions. But that is, whenever I read it, whenever I see Negan, I'm like, you're just daring television and not be able to put this guy on television. Like
we have a little time to think about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very tricky.
What is your name and what is your question?
Hello, my name's Erica, and I had a question because you were talking earlier about the special effects. They really are awesome on the show, and I think part of the reason Herschel's death was so gut-wrenching was because his head was cut off with a sword, and you can't.
Everybody's up to speed on that. All right, good.
But anyway, well, hopefully you are. But if you're not, oh well. But at any rate, but it got me thinking. It's like the sky's the limit of like how you could meet your zombie demise. So have any of you thought of how do you like to meet your zombie demise?
I don't think any of us want to.
Nope.
Yeah. They don't because it would be in real life. If you did.
No, I think the question is sort of presupposed on real life.
Oh, I think on the
for
show.
you too.
Well, either like in real life or on the show. I imagine more so on the show, but just like.
Then it goes towards you. Okay.
Because every week we watch in memoriam, like seeing different ways of a zombie being killed, like so, which is.
I would like a zombie to feed me ice cream until I die from that.
There you go.
That'd be a way to go, right? I'm changing my answer. No, not ice cream, cheeseburgers. I prefer that.
I would be the first person in the apocalypse to be like, I could probably have sex with a zombie, and then that would be.
Hey, you realize that there are people in front of you, right? Like you're not alone right now.
I'm not home?
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Oh, the nightmare, it's happening. How would you go, Scott?
Man,
wait. Was that death by like zombie STD because you'd have sex with them?
Yeah.
You might
If you're
walk
gonna have
away
sex
from
with a
that.
zombie, use protection, please. It's very vital. Because you can spread the virus.
That's not going to kill you.
No, it's not going to. Well, so let's talk a little bit about the.
Yeah, let's do
I thought about it.
Yeah, let's do this.
I thought about it. Because essentially.
Don't reveal how much you've thought about it.
Not about the other part.
Don't need diagrams.
I'm walking in a field. I see her across the field. No, it's. But the idea that everyone has this thing. They're afflicted with this thing that it's already. I'm assuming like it's in their bodies, and so sometimes people go, "Oh, well, how could you get blood in your face and your eyes?" They're like, "No, but that's not really the thing. I mean, it's essentially like bleeding out or being ripped open, right? That kills people.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
You aren't changed into a zombie by a zombie biting you or tearing you open. That kills you. But you're going to turn into a zombie if you die of a heart attack, or
so it's almost like they're two separate processes in a way.
they are. One is dying, and one is coming back as a zombie. Which, if you died in your bed of a heart attack or a stroke, that's going to happen.
You're gonna turn into.
Yeah. So death by zombie. I mean, Robert has the best method. Chris has the weirdest.
I promise you, I'm not the only one in this room.
I didn't think he'd go
I
there.
think you are.
Nope.
Well, no, maybe the gentleman with the well. but I honor you, sir.
Hey, Chris, can we get Jonah Ray's number before you leave here?
Nope.
I mean, I think okay. We're beating a dead horse here. I think T-Dog.
Better than what Chris wants to do with it. Boom!
Oh, damn!
Wow.
Snap points.
I'm just saying quick. I'm just saying quick as possible. Oh, points. Wow, so slow. I would just say as quick as possible. I think T-Dog had a pretty good jugular tear. Was over relatively quickly. I'm gonna go with that.
Jugular tear.
Awesome. Thanks. And Lauren, I loved you on Supernatural.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Derek. I work at Meltdown Comics.
Hey, I know that place.
You do know that place. I've seen you like twice. And
I got a job, man.
You actually got me a Batman hat. You sort of it trickled down. I got it through Horrible Movie Night, and they said it was from you, so I felt
I will enjoy your Batman
So,
head.
yes.
That sounded weird.
But my questions, I have questions because he's still on Batman head. But my questions, the first thing, I felt old today because I stocked issue 123, and there's a big stamp that said...
How do you think I feel?
Yeah, 2003 to 13, and that made me think back to when I first started buying trade paperbacks, and trade number 1 of Walking Dead is the first that I started out on, and I recommend it to everyone that comes into the store. And I can't say enough. I'm super. It's awesome how much it's permeated every medium. I'm playing the video game right now, and if you can pass along a thank you and a fuck you to whoever made me kill Duck, and go through that process, that'd make me feel awesome because. I hated that and loved it all at the same time.
Should all be playing the video game, please.
It's awesome. It's the best thing ever. And I have a question for Scott because it was the question that I've been like mulling over myself as I've been watching this show of how either uneasy you are with the fact that this is source material that's still being written. Obviously, not all shows have the ending thought out, but I feel like I'd be just so nervous. Like I'd be calling up Robert and being like, hey, so do you think you have an ending anytime soon or anything like that? So that was just my question for you. And then for the actors, are you ever at a point where you're like, I think I just want a crazy, stupid love. Like I just would like one of those roles and not killing zombies every day of my life? Or is it like the Hurt Locker where you're only just truly happy killing zombies and want to get back to it? So,
well put.
But yeah, so those are my questions.
So the first question was about source material not having an ending, its material still being written. But you knew going into this, right, that Kirkman's like, I'll write it forever.
Yeah. The Simpsons isn't supposed to stop. It's at least supposed to go into the Futurama timeline. So I have a lot of experience watching that. So as far as the show, I mean, the show's going to have to be a different entity that way. That said, I talk to Robert pretty constantly and...
Too constantly.
Yes. I mean, the show will be different, but Robert's a big part of the show, so it's going to be fun figuring that out. That said, the show is fairly popular, and AMC is fairly happy with it. So it does seem like it's going to go on for a while, and I think that even sort of has some interesting possibilities to it because I think the show is going to sort of morph and transform in a lot of ways even from the time that it's on. And
Well, 'cause if you see how, I mean, like, you guys do 16 episodes in a full season, which is a year and 4 months of comics. You know, so like within a half a year, really, you could burn through. Like, you could conceivably catch up and pass the comic timeline.
Wait, what?
If the show were on long
Robert's
enough,
excited about that.
if the show were on long enough, it could happen.
I actually have an ending in mind for the comic. I don't plan on getting there anytime soon. My hopes and desires are that the show will run its course and then maybe one day go away, and then when no one likes the comic anymore, it'll run for like 10 more years, and then I'll wrap it up.
And it'd be like, it was all a dream.
When no
then-
one cares.
Well, and then it's Walking Dead
were in
Next
purgatory.
Generation. Sort of. And then the comic will go up again.
Oh, that'll be great.
So
That'll be good.
I guess, and the other question was to Steve and Lauren was about, are you ever like, I just want to be in a rom-com, not a zom-com.
You did it.
Boo.
Points.
No points.
We're in a rom-com right now.
Yeah.
These characters, they got the rom-com going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what hiatuses are for.
It's heavy, but it's also so satisfying. Ask us again in like next season. In 2 years. No, it's so I mean, it's very satisfying. So it's like I think the writers, you know, they really give us something new to deal with every single time. So for me, honestly, if you really think about what Glenn's gone through, he's gone through every genre of everything, like action movie, like romantic comedy, or even just a drama, straight drama, or even just a comedy. Glenn's been fun to play, so I'm thrilled.
A medical drama? You went through like an episode of House?
Yes. It's super snarky the whole time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Derek. I'll see you at Meltdown. Yes. All right. What is your name, sir?
Hi, guys. My name is Mark, and if you guys don't mind, I'm going to deviate from the show itself with my question. Let's say, hypothetically, once the millionth season has concluded, Glenn's become cyborg and everything.
Yes.
They want to go
Keep
back.
going. I like this.
They want to go back and make a true Hollywood story. Who would you guys cast to play yourselves?
Wait, you don't play?
Well, if it's E, I'd have to cast Ryan Seacrest to play me.
Naturally.
Unfortunately.
Chris Hardwick can play Maggie.
Oh, I'd be so good.
Hopefully another Asian actor.
I'd go Zac Efron for you.
Yeah. He's like right there.
He can play Asian.
Yeah, yeah.
Doppelganger.
I would like to say James Earl Jones, but we all know it would be Seth Green.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
I'm
you.
not
No,
answering.
you answer it.
Ed
man.
O'Neill, I don't care.
There you
Whatever.
are.
I don't know.
What is your name in question?
Good evening. My name is Will.
That was very commanding.
Thank
Whatever
you.
you're about to say, you have my attention.
Good
Good
to
evening. My
know.
name is Will.
Scott. This is a little bit of praise, and I do have a question, but I just wanted to say big props to you, man. I was scared on that third transition. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, AMC. I had no words, but just keeping a little bit of faith, man. You guys have done a tremendous job, and I just wanted to take my hat off to you. So,
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you, Will.
You kind of taken all the characters, and I already was in love with everybody, all the characters, but this season you giving us little side stories and just imbue them with even more power. So when it is their time to go, it's really gonna hurt.
That was the plan.
Definitely. Steve and Lauren, just getting back to issue 100, just the power you've given your characters. I mean, this made this issue really fucking hurt, man. Kurt, I mean, Robert, I just...
This man just took his hat off to you, Robert. Why are you hurting him?
No, really.
I take it all back. Glenn didn't die.
No, that's... You did a great job with it, so I'm glad to say I wasn't the only one hurt over the whole issue. But with everything you've done, as just getting to see the actors and the power that's come out of the relationships, has that changed? And this question, of course, for you, Robert, has it changed the way you've written The Walking Dead at all? Any of the issues?
It's definitely changed my life in every aspect that you can possibly think of, mostly for the better. And but as far as like writing the comic goes, I do try my best to make sure that it doesn't change the way I write the comic, just because I wrote the comic for 8 years or 7 years, or I don't even remember, before the show happened, and I didn't want anything to change like my plans or what I was doing, because I feel like, you know, the comic was what it was, and its popularity led to the show existing, and if it in any way changed the comic, you know, it would, you know, diminish it in some way or just make it not what it was, and I wanted to really avoid that. And so I do try to put it all out of my head, and I try to ignore, you know, the fantastic actors that I know now that play these characters, and I try not to think like, there are times where you're writing it and I'll be like, I wonder how they're gonna do this. Like, how are they gonna put a tiger on the show? That's gonna be funny. And then I'm like, stop thinking about that. Stop thinking about that. Just do what you're gonna do. You know, or if I want to introduce a character like Negan, where he uses the F word for like every other word, and that's like his thing. You know, I just do it. And you know, Scott and I'm there too, so I guess I'll have to figure that out also when we get there, which is not gonna be fun. I think.
No, it will be fun. We're going to have to make it fun. It's going to be fun.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
I've just been told we have time for one more question, and I apologize. I would stay here all night and talk about the show. I swear to God I would. But
these chairs are comfortable.
They're very comfortable. But I'm told that we just have time for one more question. So
do 2.
What?
Just do 2.
All right.
Yes, what are you gonna do?
Right. Nothing. I guess they're nothing. Everyone in the audience gets to ask a question. We're gonna stay here until it's light outside.
Yeah.
Just 2.
Okay. All right. In 470 parts. What is your name and what is your question?
Hi, I'm Dewana. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. Such an amazing show. Like, I love this show. And I guess my question would be, sticking to kind of what he was saying, when you're developing a new character that's not in the comic book, how do you stay true to the comic book by introducing this character who's not in it?
You know, I mean, all the characters are informed by the show, which is informed by the comic book, and thinking ahead of like next season, there's some characters that are new, but I can sort of trace parts of their lineage from the comics or the novels. I don't know. If we're serving the story correctly, it's a character that could appear in the comic book. Like Dwight, there you go. Daryl.
Daryl, yeah.
Dwight Schrute.
But Dwight in the comic has some Daryl characteristics, I'll just say that.
He's got a crossbow. What do you want?
Well, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. And then you, sir.
Last one.
Oh, this better be good.
My name's Oscar.
I feel bad for these people that refuse to
I know,
sit
these
down.
poor kids.
Sorry.
Sorry. Should have stood up sooner.
I want to say Lauren.
You know what you were doing. You were like, I don't know if I want to stand up in front of everybody. Maybe I'll wait. I'll see if, you know, and you took too long. Damn it. I'm sorry. It's, you know, it happens. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm going to say Lauren, I love you.
Thank you.
Steven, I like your socks.
Well.
Robert, I love the comic. I'm always going to Jeffrey's comic to grab the first
Yeah, but
issue.
what about these socks?
They're nice too. And Gimple, yours are really cool too. They're red.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Can't wait for my compliment to come down the pipeline. What's it going to be? The tie, the socks at midnight? It could be anything.
I like
Here
Nerdist.
it comes.
I like Nerdist.
Oh, okay. Well, that was nice. I was expecting to be like, I don't know who you are.
He did the whole.
I swear I thought you were going to say
next
that.
time.
He took the broadest.
I'm not on American Idol.
I like your entire company.
Okay, so I have 2 questions real quick. One, if I flew to Georgia, can I be a zombie?
Nope.
Okay.
That's a fair answer.
Okay. And last one is, I keep hearing about this spin-off that I would love to know anything about it. Is it going to be involved with the comic, or is it like just...
I can tell you nothing.
Okay.
It's been publicly said that it's going to be a new cast in a new part of the world, so I can repeat that.
It is going to be 3 cameras.
It's going to be 3 cameras. It's going to be a
Sitcom.
sitcom.
Yep.
Ray Romano is in it. That's an exclusive.
I was going to go for Ray Romano. I backed off.
Yeah, really? You're gonna do a Ray Romano?
I was good, but I know
Do it.
I know
Do it.
Steven
Do
can
it. Come
a
on.
killer.
I think
Ray
that we
Romano.
should end this panel with dueling Ray Romanos. doing a scene. Hold on. Doing a scene from the upcoming Walking Dead spinoff. Scott, you go first, so Steven has a chance to think of a good one. Sorry.
And then I'll host the after show of it.
Yeah, you got it.
So honey, why are you growling at me?
When did I have a good one?
What's the matter with you?
You do this professionally.
I don't even know what he sounds like right now.
Just try to suck the front of your face into the back of your throat.
Patricia, I can't do it. I can't.
There you go.
Oh, I'm Raymond.
What an amazing episode of the new Walking Dead. So many things happened with Dueling Romanos. We're going to have Ray Romano here tonight on Talking the Other Walking Dead. Listen, I feel like that was a good place to end, but this kid was standing at the back, and I feel like he had a good question. And I just want to give him one chance to ask.
It better be a good question.
You shut up, Robert Kirkman! What is your name?
My name is Sam.
And what is your question, sir?
My question was, I'm a big fan of the show, and I've started on the comics. And I was wondering if I can get Lauren and Steven's autograph in my Walking Dead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We can't do that. I know. I would. Yeah. This is really
That's
awkward.
the one thing
Here, give me your book.
can't do.
And Robertson, what is? Tell me your name one more time. Sam. S-A-M. Okay. 1 M, 2 M's.
2 M's.
2 M's. Here you go. This goes to Sam. And while they're sending around signing this book,
I think he specifically asked for their
he said
autograph.
Kirkman too. He
Oh,
said
me
Robert
too?
Kirkman
Okay,
too.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure. I didn't want to do it if he didn't
so
want me.
while these guys are
you never
signing
know.
that, I would like you to please a huge round of applause for the panel up here. Steve Young, Lauren Cohan, Robert Kirkman, Scott Gimple, me, Chris Hardwick. It's been a pleasure to chat with you guys for a while tonight. We'll see you next week. There's 3 more episodes left this season, and Talking Dead's right on after. I'll see you guys. I'm going to choke now. I'll see you guys next week. Good night.